Wait, you can't go yet. She wants us to see it.
It's such a weird one.
We can go on for days for stories like
Oh, please.
No.
I hope that was informative for you.
No, I don't like this.
You calling
Sorry.
you know,
Exactly.
Good. Yeah,
But.
you know our relation.
Thank you.
Yes.
Very much.
Okay. We'll be in order. After a great discussion with Peter
Yes,
Borges
I think so.
Company. It's Peter Borges Inc., right?
Yes.
So we'll move right along. Everyone but Ms. Karen is here. We had a previous engagement. We'll skip right down to 4A.
How about we do the pledge?
Yeah, good, pledge, we're gonna stop. Gotta open the meeting.
You need a week.
Come on, kid.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Jump right into 4A, trash bag prices. So what's the issue?
I don't know, I read the minutes and there were a lot of numbers in there. And I made a couple of motions and withdrew them because we had too many numbers going around. So let me, if I may, I'm gonna use, you recall all those spreadsheets I did, is that okay? I'm gonna use the 2023 data. The revenue from the large bags at $20 per roll was $238,630. Now, I'm not going to get into the net revenue cost of bag here. I just want to throw that number out there. And that was for 487 cases, okay, which was the actual number of large bags sold. Okay, if we were to go to $28 a roll, okay, the gross revenue from that would be $334, $334,082, which would be a delta, a bump up of almost $95,500. That we would, bring in a gross amount. That doesn't include cost of the bags or anything, okay? But we bring in, as I said, an additional 95,000 plus put towards the pay-as-you-throw program. So to me, the two things that need to be considered. Number one, trash bags. Do you want to increase the price on the large or the small, and or some combination thereof? You want to increase it for the large and not the small? You want to leave it the same? And the other, I think, consideration is I rolled everything into one.
I think if you increase one and not the other, then the back sales for the smalls would just increase.
Well,
Yes, yeah.
So
Tom, if I may, Tom had mentioned, I want to just get the numbers up there. Tom had mentioned the small bags, 2023, actual data. The gross was $38,465. Before everybody arrived, Tom and I just thrown some numbers around. And if it was increased from $10 to $15 a roll, the new gross would be $57,697, or an increase of almost 20K over what's being collected. Now, those are the two numbers, okay, that we played with, okay? So there they are,
So how many are roll? 5,
10.
10,
10? So.
you're on.
I still like the numbers I threw at you, but I'm also thinking that the evil way, like Sandwich did, reduce the number of bags in the packet. Would that be an easier pill to swallow?
So to be honest, that's what I'm asking, is because 10, a roll of 10 is a lot.
It is all.
That's not a common.
But I do know
Mhm.
people in Dayton are not stupid.
Well, okay, I
But it
mean,
might take a little time.
Yeah,
well, let's, I'm not advocating either way. I mean, I have no pride of authorship in what I throw out there, it can be change orders, but people are accustomed to buying 10, okay? And I personally, if I get 5 bags, I don't wanna have to make twice as many trips to buy them, or, I don't have to, every time I go to Hannaford or some other outlet, just say, oh, and by the way, I need another roll of Dayton trash bags. I mean, people are accustomed to buying 10, and ultimately the numbers are gonna be the same, whether they're buying lots of 5 or lots of 10. My opinion.
I don't know, they have a certain amount of dollars, a
Right,
lot of
right,
people, they have a budget, and they can't go over, and if it's $8 here and it's $8 there, they know it.
As
So-
we just heard, we need to start getting prepared for an increase. And also, we haven't touched the price of bags for too many years. They haven't been going up at all. Bob were talking before the meeting, I think part of the discussion was leaning towards just a large. I strongly suggest, even in the last meeting, we hit the small bags, but just not as much, because that's the most vulnerable part of our population. So the 28 for 10 and the 15 for 10, I think is palatable, personally. And I think it's responsible to raise one, not the other. That's a different message.
Right, gotta
So
go-
that's-
Yeah, I
gotta go
agree.
across the board.
so that's the webinar that we're having on Wednesday is all about communities who have pay-as-you-throw, going through these exact same topics. And I can't share the webinar with you right now.
We're not eliminating the gap for the difference, the taxpayers in general have to pick up the difference, but the offset's gonna be smaller after the increase.
And if you go with a large bag, if you go to 28, that's a 40% increase. If you go to 15 with the small bags, it's a 50%. So, again, that's, unless you want to keep it the same, that's ballpark again, I think.
It's kind of recommended that they kind of stay the same. Because when people start playing the game of like, well, if I buy 2 of the smaller ones, and so, and it does send the wrong message, so keeping them.
For the math, we did, to do the math right, we came up with $30 for the large, and we cut it down to 28. to make it
Correct,
palatable.
that's correct, yes.
So with.
14 bucks for the small. Okay, I said, if you do with 40%, 14 bucks for the small. That's a stupid number, but I agree, it should
So
be
it's 28,
Yeah,
it's still a big
Yeah,
change,
yeah.
but a lot of people electronic, but not that,
Yeah,
I mean,
the seniors are gonna be still cash, I bet you, all them small
Well,
back to
the stores
office.
won't take
so.
cards.
Nancy-
Hannaford is the only one that will accept the credit card.
Oh.
Everybody else is cash on.
Yeah, and that's another issue we talked about.
only
last
if you
year.
just find the bags, it's.
You have to buy the bag separately. and
Oh, you know why?
Yeah.
They're probably because of convenience being a card, they're probably.
No, because
Exactly.
yeah, it's a convenience and then the enterprise.
We would
fund.
have,
Yeah,
to
it
give
is.
the
Yeah.
vendor,
So we are running,
we would have to give the vendor the difference of that convenience fee to allow them to use. the
so we
credit card.
can increase that to make the whole.
While Mr. Perry is doing some math, Mr. Naylor wanted to say something.
No,
Sorry.
I was listening to my answer.
When your hand came up,
One of the things I wanted to mention, when we consider low income and seniors, they don't always go hand in hand. But if you have programs where, somebody needs to show a voucher or whatever, having a senior low income discount for those residents who need it. So they would get a small discount And Taunton, they give them like a roll of bags every 3 or 4 months or something like that. But, yeah.
Easy to hear.
Yeah, I said Taunton, yeah, okay. But again, they have to show, that they're,
Okay.
there's a, it's
He's right.
needs-based.
Yeah, if you were to go up with a small bag, 40% or up to $14, the difference in the revenue is minuscule. It's $14 for 10 bags, small is $15,386. That's the difference between the two numbers is $3,800. That by going from the 15 to 14, it's only $3,800.
My biggest fear is if we do nothing, especially that small bag.
Yeah.
Right.
And we hit the wall, how do you go from there to 20? You don't
Agree.
You can't.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to wait to raise it again, you can't raise it.
It should be looked at annually. in
Exactly,
increments.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's exactly.
And I don't, here again, based upon everything that, we have discussed, we're gonna have to go up and pay as you throw, as we've discussed before. It's fair, because at this point, whatever appropriated funds are used, everybody's paying the same amount for trash, if you will, whereas if I generate 5 bags a week and you generate 1, you're subsidizing me. I should pay for what I throw.
Right,
And you
right,
should pay for what you throw.
definitely.
So, I mean, economy probably should consider an increments every year, but in actuality, it should reflect current contracts. So it could be a 3-year contract.
Yeah.
But then
You should review it
that's
every
where,
year. Yeah, you should review it every year.
And
But that
that's
doesn't mean you have to increase it.
exactly.
Then more than 3 years.
Yeah.
So that is, so I'm part of the webinar that's doing this, so I'm researching other towns that are doing things, and that's one of the things that we're highlighting. And only one town actually makes it part of their policy, and that, believe it or not, is Weston. But they look at it every single year. Town meeting votes on it. I guess in their town regulations that they have it, 70% of the bags will be covering the cost of the program. And so, and the thing is, so it's very, very transparent. They have the,
that's healthy, that's close to where we started with.
well, and don't worry about those weird amounts. I mean, I'm looking at the data here, but if you time multiple out, it's like 575 and
There are 12 people in that weird.
Well, just remember this, how do you price things? I'm not gonna pay $20 for that. Well, it's only $19.95. Oh, wow.
right.
They see the one on the
Yeah.
left, and
Yeah.
that's what people, but here again, if we're going to do this, Peter brought up flyer to educate. That's part of it. Hey, gang, and we've had this discussion before. We've pretty much held the line for a number of years on the price of that. The price of disposal
Yeah.
is going up, and the delta's growing there, and we've got to make that up. I mean, we're paying for it, just again, the people that throw the most, either they'll get a lot more efficient or they'll pay to throw it away.
And we got a good rationale for our numbers. We're only making a recommendation to Board of Health.
Correct.
They can go either way, also on their recommendation for Board of Selectmen.
So would we want to make a recommendation from this committee to the Board of Health to go up to $28 for a roll of 10 large and go to 14? Or
Just a point of order, and you guys can help me with this, so the minutes reflect one thing, right? So do we have to retract the motion?
well, I think it said that I retract.
What are you asking?
So-
No, you redid the motion at the end of the last meeting, so it needs to be rescinded again.
Okay.
Say that again?
Did you vote on, you didn't vote on the motion.
Yeah, it was voted on,
It was voted on.
to recommend to the Board of Health of that price increase, but you.
The
didn't-
$28 one,
Yeah, you didn't have the right dollar amount for the
for the small.
smalls.
So to make it cleaner, should we retract both and then just make a new motion?
Okay. Since I'm next.
That's the point of order, so how should we do this?
Well, yeah, because sometimes it goes like Robert's Rules of Procedure, so the person who made, when you're on the affirmative side, the person could say, it's not rescind, not rescind the motion, it's, something like rethink the motion.
I thought we were at 15 with the law. I don't know how that here is.
Okay. I'm reviewing the minutes from our previous.
Excuse me a second, isn't that has to happen at the meeting, can't happen in subsequent meetings.
No, it can happen subsequently, it can.
Are you sure of that?
Yeah, because I've done it, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I reviewed the minutes of the previous meeting and specifically on the new business section, paragraph 5D, that addresses trash bag price increase. I had made a motion regarding price increases. I would like to, at this meeting, withdraw. Or I would like to withdraw that motion and start anew based upon the discussions that we just had in this meeting. Is that
Revisit,
revisit?
revisit and vote to revisit it.
Okay,
And
so
then-
how do I have to say that?
No, that's right, yeah, move to revisit.
Move to revisit, okay, the trash bag price increase addressed in our last meeting.
Motion made,
Second.
or
Yeah, I'll second.
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, and can we read the motion?
Now he's gonna make a new motion.
Based upon the discussion we had at the last meeting and the new information and discussions in this meeting, I make a motion to recommend to the Board of Health a price increase on the 10 bag roll of large trash bags from currently costing $20 to go to $28. And the price of the small trash bags roll of 10 to go from $10 to $15 per roll.
Motion made,
May,
wait for discussion.
oh, well, okay, may I make a friendly amendment to the
There
motion?
you go.
$14.
I'm sorry, $14, my mistake, $14. I looked at the-
Because of the percentage and people are signing 100%. right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a
Thank you.
motion with a friendly amendment made. Is there a second?
Second.
Now, is there any more
Are
discussion?
we gonna include an effective date when we make the
We
recommendation?
cannot. Because this is a recommendation to the Board of Health. They do their thing, it could take a couple meetings, then they make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen for the final vote.
There's nothing to prevent this committee from making a recommendation.
We could recommend before January 1st, and that'd still be pushing it, wouldn't it?
Oh, you could do it pretty fast.
If we made a
You,
motion,
you could. But the other end, we don't know, because they got.
I took a note here.
Sure.
So in
Oh,
order to get it on to their next meeting, the Board of Health would need to meet before their next meeting, which is 11/13. In the last meeting, there was discussion about putting an advertisement out with the tax bill. It's doable, but Paul Reynolds would need all that information prior to 11/30 to get it in the tax bill, so we don't have to pay postage. So you don't have.
I need to know, what are you up to? What date are you looking for?
just because we make a recommendation, like Bob said, over to the Board of Health, doesn't incumbent them to do it.
Correct.
It's just this committee's recommendation to them, what they do with it.
I personally don't like the tax bill thing, and at the same time as Thanksgiving and Christmas on here, but it is what it is. But I have no control over that. I'd rather mature to like January.
The only thing it's doing is saving us money on postage.
Yes. Any
But
other discussion?
If we were talking about doing a flyer with all the, information about, clean recycling and why it's going up and other options and.
That should happen anyways with that cable committee, the YouTube stuff that we do.
It
It's
should all
very
happen,
easy. It
yeah.
could be a 30-second segment in the Selectmen's meeting.
Do we have any RDP funds we can use for
Yes,
that?
that's what we're talking about.
And some of it doesn't cost money, a lot of it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, I agree with that, Steve.
Yeah.
We've been pushing for that all along, and let the town know what's coming their way.
Yeah,
No,
But
yeah,
that's
and
necessary.
just because we'll work on it right now, we don't have to have it, we could do January 1st, or we could do January 15th.
well, if we're trying to hit that particular mailing and say.
Oh, no, I mean
that's
the
a lot of money
mailing, but I
to
mean
save.
that to become effective. The pricing to
Right.
become effective doesn't have to be Christmas.
That would be for your committee to decide, wouldn't it? Yeah,
And I do appreciate him being worried that it just sits
Oh,
somewhere.
no, we don't,
Not just you,
I was
it
gonna
could,
say,
it could, if there's no date attached to it, not just your committee, it could sit in his office before it goes to the selectmen. We don't know.
well,
It's important to have a date to move things along.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
you know, I'm a little dog, you know. Look at Ellen.
Is the motion made? Any further discussion? Made and second, I should say.
Mhm.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
there's also another classification, it's called abstentions.
You were a troublemaker. What troublemaker. Don't get him all riled up.
I didn't do that to John, no.
So, Ms. Hollenbeck. I see you. Subtly, I see you all over the agenda here. Do you have, are you constrained with time, and you most of the discussions with you?
I can stay as long as you want and do whatever you need me to do. So,
We appreciate you coming. We really,
Yeah,
really do.
let me just answer this, because it's the time of day, this is probably,
that's,
well,
so,
Tim's not home? Yep, drag him out of there. Or just get it on the side of the road and we'll get it up. Right, yep, okay. Okay.
You guys want to make a motion to skip 4B? Or more activity?
But before we kind of, that's where I was going to get that phone call. So before we does, touch and see also, I'm sure.
I think the first thing on the agenda is.
The transfer seat.
Right.
You want to go right, you want to go right to the grant thing? Because we get a discussion in the agenda that's before that, the transfer station swap check possibility. So I'm assuming you got more information on it, or?
I've got some.
Yes.
There were a couple of different companies. I just was trying to figure what size. How long, what are they, 30 footers? The,
You're talking about actual shed.
mhm.
So does the grant, what does the grant cover? Is it a dollar amount or is it the actual building?
So it is the $5,000 grant
Mhm.
that will be coming out hopefully in the spring, depending on funding. And that is for, they're getting a universal waste shed that handles mercury items or a swap shed. And so you get a choice of what you want to do. So with that, it would be for you to get a shed with whatever, you know, that funding is for. I mean, if you wanted to spend more for it, that's fine, but it would only cover
And
$5,000.
is there a time limit to spend that?
Usually about a year. I mean, they try and, you know, they don't want you to sit on it too long.
Correct.
So,
Is there a size limit for the shed?
I'm sorry.
Is there a size limit?
No, I mean, it's, for this particular one, it's a dollar amount. Unlike the mattress container that you have, they have a very specific size and all this stuff. This is not really. You know, the sheds that I'm seeing, I see a whole bunch of different, some will get a brand new shed and it's like a, you know, 10 by 12 or, you know, something like a rectangular kind of thing. You get a Home Depot kind of thing, not really huge. It depends on whatever you want to get. I've seen some places that are, you know, metal storage containers. you know, we close the lid and, you know, it can get hot in there and really
What-
cold in the winter.
What about the money that's already there?
So the money that you have already there, when I looked at the numbers, I think you had 14,400 something.
Mhm.
And then I'm estimating that you're gonna be getting another 4,000 really soon. Hopefully, that should be announced really soon. And that you can use for anything, I gave everyone your spending categories. So this is the thing that what it could be spent on. I don't wanna, the thing is that if you can get money for it in another way, you might not wanna use this money
Because we
for.
can get points for that stuff.
Yeah, you can get more,
Like a dishwasher for the
yeah,
elementary
yeah,
school.
you can do like more things for it. So this expending thing just here
Mhm.
is all the things that you can use, categories really, that you can buy with your RDP money. The idea is that you invest in programs that will help you reduce your waste. So I just had one town that spent money on a town cleanup. No, that's not allowed. Yeah, it's a great thing when you're picking up trash, but it's not reducing their recycling. So they're kind of broad and it gets changed.
So
And this is-
that wouldn't cover, we wouldn't get anything for the shed,
You could get the shed for, you
Some
could pay for the
points.
shed from here.
some points.
Oh, for the points, so
Would we
yeah,
get
so that's a
points for
different, so
that?
this is just the spending, the other point, you have the other thing for the points.
Yeah,
And I didn't want to put out genetic, is there?
it's
So
survey.
this is, so the program is, again, this would open up in the spring, and you get points for different categories.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, some of them are gonna change a little bit, but my goal is to work really crazy hard to make sure everyone gets the maximum points. And some of them are so easy. So
Right.
you would get,
We missed out on a couple last
you would
year.
get a point for the swap shed.
Can I just interrupt this discussion for a minute, because my thoughts are way ahead of here. How are we gonna man the shed? When are we gonna work out the details on the thing, or we're gonna wind up with a shed sitting there, and we can't do anything with it, because we haven't prepared for it? I mean, the discussion tonight, I heard somebody say, people volunteering to man it and stuff like that, I think Peter brought up a couple of points, so forth and so on, but
Yeah.
what I hear now is we're talking about building spending $5,000 to put a shed in,
Mhm.
but we don't have any details of what's gonna happen in the shed after it's in.
Well, I think it's Attleboro, one of those towns up there. What they do is they'll get like the Lions Club, the Boy Scouts, and then each week they take care of that. And they put a container there if they would like to donate, the people that are there, to them. And it's more like a fundraiser for them, and they man it.
Or the other thing is,
How would it be a fundraiser for the Boy Scouts?
they have a donation bucket.
A donation bucket. So when people come, it's like they're thanking them for running it.
And then the other thing is, within the tax abatement program for seniors, it's a very common method to have them be that part of their program. The only problem is that like nobody wants to do it in February, so that's okay.
Right.
But the thing is, so you have somebody who's really dedicated, that's their job, somebody who likes to do that kind of thing, you know, cleaning, puttering, talking to people, kind of maintaining it kind of thing. You know, depending on how many hours you have, how many people you have. The idea is kind of to have a volunteer group do it, so it's not taking, you know, away from the town.
Highway guys.
All I'm saying is, we really need to work out the details.
So
In cement, because
Right, we can't work them out tonight, because the ball is already, it's already in motion in some of the nonprofit organizations in that town. The idea is out there, they're working out some of the details to see if they're gonna commit. Say,
Okay.
for example, the Lions are working on it. I'm not sure they're gonna need or want to do the year round, so it makes sense to share, like, maybe 6 months Lions, 6 months someone else. That way they don't have that huge commitment.
Exactly.
I'm sticking to mud on that because the stuff that's not moving, where does it go? It cannot be a burden on the taxpayers.
Right.
It cannot end up in the dumpster.
why can't it be a burden on the taxpayer? It was if we didn't have that thing.
No, because the people are gonna be bringing it there for free, so how is it gonna pay for the disposal?
Well, how about if we start looking around? If
So the thing is,
Savings will take some of it, maybe?
Yes, there are some organizations, those have to be worked out.
That's what I mean.
It has to be flushed out. How are you gonna do that tonight?
Oh, no, we're not gonna do it tonight.
I'm not suggesting we do it
Not gonna do
tonight,
that
I'm just
tonight.
suggesting we do it.
Yes.
Of course. $5,000 shed in landfill.
I can always use the shed.
Well,
so what I was gonna suggest is that, you know, if that is what you wanted to do, I think what you're trying to do is get the points for it to help pay for it.
Of course I do, of course I do. I mean, if there's money to be had, we can
Yeah.
get points and we can get money, let's do it.
well, I would say, just to your point, so if it's on that list right there, it's not going into the swap shed. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the
Well-
starting point right there.
Well,
Those-
so
those things.
that's an issue, so.
She has an issue.
So let's say,
It's gonna come down to what would you bring home?
right.
What I would bring home.
Right, so then,
That's one of the
basically, so
details.
basically if something, you know, like an electronic item, the volunteer would have to plug it in and make sure it works and that it's valuable. That the furniture, that if it's coming in, that, you know, if it's good. I mean, I can't tell you how much pristine furniture I see in dumpsters.
Mhm.
That, oh my God, like, they put it on the curb and be gone in a minute. But, so that's where it kind of comes with the, you know, training and education of the person who's managing, you know, the shed at that point. But the thing is that, and there are so many different flavors in all the different towns out there, that if it is refused by the attendant, they have to pay that, you know, like, you can't just leave it here, you gotta, you know, you gotta pay this.
Exactly, yeah.
So, and that's where it kind of comes, you know, to that kind of thing. I mean, of course, you might have to take a toilet, but you know, there's some of the things that it would be coming.
Well,
And also, are you thinking people can bring this stuff into the swap shed without buying a sticker to use the transfer station?
No, that's going to be required, I think.
So, I mean, I'm
I'm pretty
just saying,
sure.
there's different ways of doing that, or not doing that. I'm just saying is that communities that have that type of program, they get rid of more stuff. People can't drop stuff off unless you have a sticker, but they can take your stuff out.
You can let it, yeah, open.
Yeah, but the host, and I know what your goal is, and you haven't said it yet, is to reduce the tonnage of disposal.
Exactly.
Now, you need to say
Right.
that a little more
Right,
often.
right, I'm sorry. Yes, the whole idea of this, okay, yes, it's a nice warm fuzzy, but the reality at the end of the day is to reduce the tonnage that this town is paying for. Thank you.
That's a big thing, and any way we can do it, yeah.
And then, you know, so like the furniture, so, you know, we had a couch on there. You're gonna have a small shed, you're not gonna have room for a couch in there, so you can very clearly limit what you're gonna take. You can say, no furniture, no, you know, refrigerator, no white goods, whatever. So that is something, you know, you would have rules, and again, you know, you can't just throw it out there, you're gonna have rules.
But I mean, yeah, to Dave's point, though, and
And
I
I-
agree with that, you, before you start saying, let's do this, let's do that, you need to consider how it's gonna be done and what can come in, how long it's gonna stay there.
Yeah.
You know, et cetera, to that point.
There's a couple of organizations that'll take, I'm told, they'll take everything.
Yes, yes,
They'll take everything.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Yeah.
remains to be seen.
Yeah.
So once this is in motion, it's not gonna be a softball thing, it's not gonna be, let's try it.
yeah,
Right.
no, exactly, exactly.
It's gotta work before it happens. And the newness will wear off, like Peter was saying, you'll have a half dozen guys standing around waiting to take stuff.
And the thing is,
And that'll dwindle, and then the tonnage being reduced is gonna decrease.
Well,
so that's what
do
you need to be
you,
consistent.
do you know what Dayton, and they have the free site that they put, you put up something and you say it's free. Well, I had seen one of these sheds, and what they did was they took pictures and put it on site, put it on Facebook, put it on Marketplace. Here, it's at Dayton, you want it, come and get it. And it goes, I mean, nobody, somebody's not gonna say, well, I'm gonna go see what's at the swap shed today. But then if they open Facebook and they say, hey, wait a minute, I could use that, I'm gonna go up there.
No, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, and it's one of the towns I was, 'cause
It's
Spend a lot of
someone's gonna
time.
maintain it, yes.
exactly, okay, I'll do that, I'll take the pictures, I'll volunteer.
Well, no, only if you did it with whoever you represent, it wouldn't be the town. The swap shed's gonna be run by someone else.
What do you mean?
Lions Club, the Boy Scouts, they're the
Yeah.
ones responsible.
Well, they'll run it per week, yeah.
You know, and again, that's, you know, whatever your model, I mean, you could hire, not hire, but have, you know, one of these residents who, you know, part of the abatement program, they can kind of manage it kind of thing, you know, and, you know, work off of their tax abatement kind of thing, and they could kind of manage it, and they could also,
I'm not sure I agree with you.
so again, it's something that you do need to work out, but, so I guess what I'm trying to do is,
Our town hasn't had the appetite to get past the voters yet. It's been the town meeting a couple times.
Yeah.
Through the
It's-
assessor's office.
it's starting, well, it started.
No,
All of the
Senior-
abatement,
the
senior
abatement,
abatement,
yes.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
the
right.
town hasn't seen.
Oh,
that
okay,
yet.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
oh,
they haven't-
yeah,
they don't
okay.
have that, yeah, I
Okay,
didn't
yeah.
do that.
Okay.
And this
So-
year's gonna be even tougher.
Well, so then there's also the thing that's like, you get the first dibs on stuff, you know, but anyway, so we should,
Joe
a lot of
Pizarro.
towns have done
We're
this,
gonna figure out what's best for Diane.
right,
Mhm.
It will
exactly,
be-
Dayton's
It's not
gonna
gonna match, or it's not gonna
Right,
match
right.
the town.
be, you know, I can show you and tell you what other towns have done, what Northampton's done, what, you know, but it's going to come down to what's right for you guys.
Well, I
And
think,
I
I think we
just
gotta
say,
have a little more discussion.
I hate to complicate this issue, but I agree with you, say just make a comment, it's not gonna be Dayton running, it's gonna be somebody else running this,
Running the table, yes,
right?
yes.
And so
They could do it as a fundraiser if they want, or,
let's take the Lions Club as running it.
correct.
Who bears the responsibility for liability when they're in there?
That's a good question, but the Lions Club carries an umbrella, that'll cover that.
Well, I use the Lions as an example, but Joe Schmo's organization doesn't have, who carrying them?
I'm sure our administrator will make sure that they have
Well,
some type of
if
insurance.
somebody gets
But-
hurt
but
at the
that
dump
is huge.
anyway, who carries the insurance? Anybody getting in, bringing something and falls and gets hurt.
If the town will cover him to a point, but I'm sure he's gonna want a certain amount of coverage to
Yeah,
catch,
things like
to understand what he's saying.
In the dump.
Yeah, if they're
Different,
working at the
yeah,
dump, but
yeah.
if people, townspeople are coming in
Well,
and
if the
get
town,
hurt,
yeah, if the town person gets hurt, that's different than if a volunteer
yeah.
would get injured to then the town's point.
Could you look into that for us,
Could I
Ray?
make a suggestion that this, could we table the swap shed issue? And I would, at this time, and I would propose that each and every one of us come in next time with a list, next meeting with a list of concerns, so, because right now, we're just wrapping around. So we can, each individual, we can focus our thoughts and our questions and really work it out, because right now, we're just sort of spinning.
But that,
No, I agree with you.
That's the best way to get the issue on the table and get thoroughly discussed.
Yes.
So the other thing is that, and I kind of like that idea as well, and adding into it is that it gives you time for when this grant does open up in the spring to decide whether you want it or not.
Right.
And that 5,000 that's dedicated just for that.
Mhm.
In the meantime, you can use your funding for other items.
But excuse me, if we get this $5,000 grant, there's probably gonna be some stipulations in their application or something like that about what we're gonna use it for and
It can only be used
what,
for a shed.
and what penalties are involved if we don't use it for what we said we're gonna use it for.
I'm sorry, that's something you said, I'm sorry.
Well, say we agree to take the 5,000, build a shed for furniture, but we don't use it for that. Are there penalties involved then?
No, you don't really do that. We don't. I'm not really, we don't really kind of enforce it that much. So
Okay,
there,
alright.
I'll be honest, I have seen sheds, whether they were funded from their grant money. They tried it for a few years. Usually we want somebody to try something for like 3 years. I think that's the thing before it goes away.
Okay.
The thing is with the shed, the nice thing about having a transfer station and let's say 3 years doesn't work or whatever, you now have a shed that you can use for other items within your transfer station if you want to collect, I don't know, plastic bags or film or, you know, whatever.
Electronics will probably.
Right, you know, you could do whatever you
Of
want.
mercury products.
I'm sorry?
Of the mercury products.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So do you
Paint shed.
currently, do you have You have a Mercury shed now, right?
Yes, we,
Okay,
we're trying to sort that.
perfect.
So again, I recommend that we table it at this time, because as I said, we've got other issues to cover, and I just see the things spinning around and around, so I would like to go home and, think this thing through, as David said, think this thing through, all aspects of it, generate my questions, and then we can all sit down here with some little more focus at this point.
And I'll make an honest effort to search the surrounding towns and how they are surrounded.
So if you want, I can send that information up, because I'm a swap shed and transfer station geek.
So you go and take all the stuff, right? Okay.
We need several, two or several.
Right, tours would be very good.
Of what, no.
Oh.
The end use, so the stuff that don't move
Oh,
on our own.
yeah,
Where to get rid of it, yep.
Someone that's dedicated, locked in, is doing it regardless.
So do you have a bin from St. Vincent de Paul,
No.
Big Brother?
That's right, I forgot, that's one
No,
of
we
the stuff.
we got text out there and books also. No, that's not,
Okay,
I don't think it's
Halsey?
St. Vincent.
you have
No,
Halsey?
Mara?
That's awesome.
That's another company.
I
That's
took a
a
picture
textile.
of it a long time ago. It
So,
took me a while to find a picture of this guy.
The reason I ask is because they do take like small household goods and stuff like that. They're becoming one of the bigger.
This company said, the one that does a textile and books, they said they would come take everything.
Okay, but yeah, so
At no cost?
yeah, because accidentally they got into the business, because when they had the bins, people dumped stuff there, so they had to get rid of it. So they actually ended up opening their own thrift store in Spencer, Massachusetts, but they also have been really busy finding markets for these things. Crazy things like the one shoes and, household items and stuff. I visited their warehouse, and it's just, you can't believe it's just textiles, because they have so much other stuff that people dump. So they kind of got into that business. Savers, so I talked to the Lions Club in Easton, and they have a swap, they have a thrift store there that is amazing. But what they do is they have one of their members that takes the stuff that doesn't sell, and he just takes the Savers, but they take everything,
So to take advantage of you, since you're sitting here, I don't see that coming.
Thank you, Cindy.
So, so what I can do is I can send you examples, also like actually taking a tour of the problem is a lot of the swap sheds in the area kind of close down this time of the year because it starts getting cold. You might have a month or two.
That's fine too, because we can set those parameters.
Yeah,
Exactly.
No, what I wanted to pick your brain for,
Yeah.
was when you did visit us during our yard sale for Lions.
Yep.
And you were speaking with a gentleman, Mr.
Yep.
Jones, if you remember.
Yep.
He recollects, you said there might be a grant available for his thrift shop that he's running.
Yes.
It says some of the
Yeah.
stuff ends up.
yes, yes.
Does.
He
So
wanted
when
me, he wanted me to get some of that information
Okay.
from you.
So it's not going to be out until spring. It's called the micro reuse grant. And that's part of,
Oh, so it's not out yet, but he needs to be ready for it.
Yeah.
Reuse grant.
and.
So
and
should he
I'll-
contact you from
Yep,
time
he
to
can
time?
contact me, or you can contact.
He's not an email guy.
I figured. I have to call him anyway, because I want to go visit his shop while I'm in town.
Yes,
But Steph can.
yes.
That's-
He's not working his full-time job now because he's injured, but he's at the shop more than
Yeah.
not.
And they're becoming kind of,
So to get this off the ground, I'll probably utilizing this shop. This could be.
That'd be great, that'd be fantastic, yeah.
but yeah, definitely, he's on my list, I have his business
All
card.
right,
I guess.
that- Move along here.
Move along.
Do we need to vote on the tabling?
Yeah, you need to motion.
Is a motion made?
I make a motion to table the discussion on the swap
There's
shed.
supposed to be no discussion after that, right?
I'll second that.
On the favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Don't move.
And is it possible on the next meeting, if you invite me,
Don't make a change.
we could discuss fix-it clinics? Because that will also get you points.
Okay.
You don't have to buy any sheds. You don't really have to buy anything.
I
Yeah.
do need this.
It's, I don't think they do it on the Cape, but They're fix-it clinics, repair cafes.
You got it?
You would get some volunteers from the community or surrounding communities. They would volunteer, you'd pick a date, and you'd have promoted, and people would bring in stuff that's broken. And then your volunteers would fix it.
Really?
Yes, I just went to one in Ashland again. Again, I'm really excited about this. I'm gonna be doing one in my town. Walpole will be starting one, and then the guy who's running it now has more time to talk to people, so it's moving ahead faster.
I'd like to see how one works.
Just missed one. So I can show you videos and, you know, the photos that I went with it, but basically, and usually they're in a library. I know your library is a trailer right now, not an option, but I think last year we talked about possibly using the senior center. You would book, you know, right now, probably like in the spring, let's say April or May. And then in the meantime, you would try and get volunteers who are good at fixing stuff. They don't have to be experts at it. I hate to say it. Older guys kind of love puttering around, fixing things. They don't have to be experts on things. They just kind of like doing that kind of thing. You kind of have various people, maybe somebody that does sewing.
Cut the chase.
I'm
The
sorry,
goal is,
I'm sorry.
cut the chase. What's the goal?
Get points.
Not just a point, reduce.
Points and
Right, I didn't get there. So the idea of this is a circular economy. So again, so we're reducing the tonnage instead of people's first thought of throwing it in the trash to fix it and repair it. And
We could have it in here, right?
you could have it in here. Yeah, it's supposed to be, actually, it's supposed to be a great spot, yeah.
It's probably where it would be.
Yeah, so anyway, so to discuss that, I can give you information on that and the swap shows next time as well. But it gets you points, gets you money, reduces your tonnage.
Look at the money, Tommy. I'm money hungry.
And who's taking it up to you? Go up, so you get that. Missy owes us.
I did reach out to the library and Parks and Rec, and they are both interested in finding out what
I'm sorry.
Parks and Rec and the library.
Oh, good.
They're both interested in finding out, you know, what they can take advantage of and what we can get from
Okay.
putting stuff in the library or in
So-
the parks.
So that's the other thing, so, well, flip to the money that you have, that you've already earned over the years building up. So you currently have, I think it's 14,400. Estimate you're gonna be getting another 4,000. You know, work really hard next year to make sure you get back up to your 6,000 level that you were getting before. And so you're gonna be having about 18,000. And that money can be used to do anything on here. And again, if you haven't figured out, I love working with communities and really kind of making it a nice, consider a small community, so it's a good thing. So with the library or even Parks and Rec, there's something called Library of Things. And so whenever the library gets built, you could give them up to $5,000. That's an awful lot of money. I'd say maybe 2,000. And what they do is they buy stuff that people might only use once or twice a year. A luggage scale, a digital photo converter, or a cassette tape converter kind of thing. It could be electronic stuff, it could be family games, it could be big yard game kind of things. Depending on your library, I don't suggest getting tents and crazy things like that. It could be an outdoor video projector kind of thing. You know, things that people might only use once or twice, but again, by borrowing them from a library, you don't have to buy it, you don't have to worry about throwing it away, it's always there. It just promotes more community, and again, every community is different. I think Seekonk has like a bird watching, a couple of bird watching kits and fishing poles and stuff, so something that, you know, you want in your community that people would like. And so you kind of need somewhere to store the stuff. The libraries are good because they know how to catalog this stuff, keep track of where it goes in and out. Mostly instead of having it on display like a store, they just will take an old VHS cassette tape container, they have a million of, put the photo on front of it and just display it where the magazines used to be in the library. So it's very easy, they're working really well in all the communities. And again, it's nice because then it says money, you know, donated by the Department of Health and South Waste Committee and blah, blah, blah. So it's a nice kind of thing like that. The other thing is that the library and the it's crazy phone calls again. The other thing is that they can get is water bottle refilling stations. So the RDP money can be used for that. So instead of people, the idea is to, entice people to use reusable water bottles more. So by having the filling stations there.
Do they have that at the elementary school?
I don't know, you have one here.
I know they have one here, they have the town hall has it.
So the school, the schools can get it,
The library's gonna be brand new open, so we can probably use one.
Yeah.
the other thing is, being the Newman Library, is that with the closing the loop category, they have things about, library furniture. So you could buy some library furniture. The criteria is basically that it's made from recycled materials already. So you could be buying some, money for that. There's not unfortunately really a lot for Parks and Rec. Mostly when I talk to the Parks and Rec people, what a lot of times they're interested in is when it's cleanup day and those little grabber things. So what I've been, and unfortunately that doesn't count because it doesn't reduce the trash, but found a loophole. You could create a kit, a town cleanup kit, and donate it to the library for that library of things. And then it's always sits there and then people don't have to go buy those things. They'll always be there kind of thing. But Parks and Rec, unfortunately, there really just isn't that much.
More recycling bins to put outside.
I'm sorry?
Not like anything like recycling bins that you can put in the parks.
Oh gosh, yeah, okay, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, so you can buy recycling bins, you can buy really boring ones, you can buy big, sexy ones, but they're called big bellies, they run $8,000 or they're all sold.
Easy, Miss,
Yeah.
easy.
But the point is that, yes, you can recycle bins, not trash bins, but recycling bins, you can do that. If you want to have special signage at the, parks about recycling and all that kind of thing, it'll pay for that. Anything for education outreach to reduce solid waste, and increase recycling is something that we done. I'm trying to think of other things. Oh, Parks and Rec. The other kind of cool thing is, I'm working on this with making it get more points for it. But some of the Parks and Rec will have things called costume swaps. Or this is a good one for the town is this time of the year with all those pumpkins people have. I don't know, people might be just throwing in their woods back there because you guys have big yards, but some people put them in the trash. And that adds a lot of tonnage to your thing. So some towns have pumpkin smashes and various ways to collect them like that. So, but yeah, anything on here.
Can you make that machine, it's like the sling, where you
Yes.
put the thing in?
Trebuchet.
Yeah, how's that?
They have one of those.
Tommy can do one of that.
So
Tommy can do
basically,
anything.
so what I, when I looked at the recycling center, I thought maybe, you could have more signage there kind of things. I know, people only read it, but you gotta have it there anyway. There's a lot that you can really use it for. And when we're talking a lot about education and outreach, that's the #1 category that the towns use it for. So most towns will just print out their, when the trash is picked up and like a yearly calendar kind of thing and send it out to people. The other things you can do is you can actually hire a professional, media people and they can do that for you. You can pay to have your cable access to help you with that kind of thing.
Are there any funds available for a flyer, a mailing, sort of discuss, to, update people on what's being done with trash, et cetera? Are there any monies available
So
for that?
not really, but maybe if you put it on the backside, like, recycling tips on it. kind of thing.
I do want to get out there about cleaning, proper cleaning.
I'm sorry.
I do want to get out there about proper
exactly.
cleaning.
Right. So, and if there's education on there, helping recycling, reducing your contamination and stuff, that's acceptable as well.
Okay.
We gotta try to request it.
Yeah.
See if someone else can-
Yeah.
we'll do it.
Yeah.
Um,
6:30.
we need to digest this. We got one way to deal with those other two subjects.
Mhm.
Is there anything else, Brian?
Nope,
Okay.
nope, other than,
Why are you here?
I'm a member of the solid waste committee.
I was
We
wondering, did you
invited
bring
him.
anything,
Oh, why am I?
did you have something that came from?
so
No.
if you need to meet
No.
with me at any point, I don't even know if you know, like, what my role is kind of thing, so, like I said,
Reducing tonnage. That's
Yeah. Basically, so yeah, Mass DOT, we are, us and Colorado are the only two states in the country that have this program, where we actually offer municipalities assistance to do this and give them grant money for it. Mainly because, like, when we were talking, Mr. Borges is like, we have 5 incinerators, like, we have 5 landfills left. So, you know, we've been doing this for, I guess, like 20 years. And I can literally help with everything from contracting to contamination issues, a lot of warm fuzzy stuff. But our big thing is like the grant program. You guys have been going to, I've been having a meeting, in-person meeting this week and getting and talking to other towns. So you can talk to them about your swap sheds and, you know, all this other stuff like that as well. And then you know, if you ever want to change your program, you know, I will talk you out of it, but you know, we could have that conversation kind of thing.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you didn't have nothing else? You're all set?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just realized why you put me on the agenda. I asked that I have, like, the report on interest, yeah, that particular category. It's something that has to be acted on today. Schedule next meeting,
How about the transfer station report? That's not on. It's on here.
where?
C, 5C. 5C.
Are you prepared, Thomas?
Oh, he's got the first one. That's the first one. I sent it out when you sent that email.
Yeah, there's nothing that needs to be acted on, so.
Okay.
I think a few things, Catherine's in trouble with it.
So
So we need to schedule next meeting. That might be a little difficult, I don't know.
can I ask the question, is there anything you need to prepare, information for the Board of Health meeting? For the, recommendation for the pricing or,
No, I think we're good.
okay.
We'll get the other towns' prices.
Yeah, so-
I can do it from the Mass website, but I don't know how active it is or how often it's updated.
No, that's usually-
So I sent you the one, I can send you another one, that's more updated now, it'll be a year, but.
What's 1 meeting?
Tell me.
Liz
Going
is
into
looking at the
turkey
dates right
season
now.
and
As we
presents.
speak, she's looking at the dates. Is she efficient or what?
We're sticking to the first Monday, because that'd be December 2nd.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
I'll tell you right now, there's already
No.
a meeting here on December
What
2nd
time?
at 6:30.
6:30. So if we do 4 o'clock.
Yeah, let's do 4 o'clock. Is 4 good for
I'm just
everybody?
gonna make sure.
It's opening day.
It's opening day, I'm sorry, but it'll be dark by then though.
4:00,
Do you
that's
want to do
showtime.
the 9th? Do you want to do the 9th?
You know what he's talking about?
The second spot,
Yeah.
Okay, so second,
I'll let you
December.
know.
Let's do that tentatively, so I can make
4
sure
to
that
6.
this room is available.
4 to 6.
4 to 6, everybody go at 4 to 6?
Sure.
Tommy might be a little late.
no, it's 4 or 4:30 is fine, it doesn't matter. We're only late tonight because we spent an hour with.
So what should 4 or 4:30?
4 o'clock.
Thank you.
Get everybody out there a little
Everyone's
early.
good with 4?
Yes.
It's 4 o'clock.
Is it all right with you, Ralph?
What's opening?
Leave it down.
December second.
Thank you for
It's on
clarifying.
Monday.
Ralph, I want to make sure everybody's good.
Public
You want
input?
to stand missing? I want you there. No, because you answered, no, my phone is right there.
Yeah, I guess we could do the minutes next meeting. It'll be amended anyways. Actually,
No, you did it.
We did.
It's invited.
we made them at the same time.
You remember, yeah.
Okay. All right,
Someone needs to make a motion to approve it.
Motion to approve
The minutes from September 23rd, 2009.
from September 23rd, 2024. Is that good enough? Rick?
as amended.
as amended.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm just waiting for somebody to.
Need another motion?
post these things.
That's when it happens.
6:25.
Mr. Neely, what's your motion?
I asked the question.
No, what's your motion now?
For what?
To adjourn. Come on.
I think we should keep talking.
Stop it, me. We're waiting for you to make this.
I make a motion with your adjourn.
Yeah, we got it. Motion, second. Your turn.
Aye.
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 I,
Thanks, everyone.
thank you, everyone.